Hi all, welcome back to Fing and Homemaking. My name is Sarah and today we are going to be looking at my meal plan for this week. Now I do have a how to get started with meal planning video that I will link down below. I'll try to put the cards up here too. I found that sometimes the cards don't show up reliably, so I'll make sure all the videos I mentioned are linked in the description below. But we're gonna go over my meal plan for this week because my husband is actually traveling abroad right now. So I am solo parenting for 10-ish days, I want to say. So a little bit about our family. My husband likes to cook and he generally gets off work earlier than I do, and he has a lot more vacation time than I do. So he's been on vacation, so he's been taking care of the suppers for the most part because one, he has more time to do it in the moment, and two, he likes doing it. So he's been doing that. So I haven't been meal planning very much, which is why I haven't been posting much about it. However, I am not the chill, fly by the seat of my pants type of person like he is. So I need a meal plan, especially because I find it very hard to multitask in the kitchen and watching my kids at the same time. So I still am working full time. Luckily, I am working from home full time this week. This is my last week of doing that before I have to go back to 3 days in the office, 2 days at home. So very lucky with the timing on that, because that means that I can do meal prep during my lunch break. And then I'm a little bit later picking up my kids. So by the time I pick up my kids, it's actually time for supper right when we get home. So the chaos of picking them up from daycare, and they're excited to see me, and they're also kind of getting a little hungry at that point. So they're just excited, hangry mixture, little toddler and pre-K balls of not always joy, right? So they still need a decent amount of supervision. So trying to supervise them in that state, as well as cook something that turns out to be edible without burning myself, burning the food, getting past my point of parenting conscientiously with my kids, I guess we will say, essentially not losing my shit with my kids. I have found that I'm not terribly successful of doing all of those things at the same time. So I have meal planned this week to where I can prep most of supper during my lunch break, so that when I pick them up, most of it's done and I'm just like reheating things when they get home, because I can manage just warming things up while I'm watching them, right? The multitasking thing in the kitchen, I'm either like super focused on something and honed in and like nothing's gonna break my concentration, or I am so distracted by everything that I can't focus on one thing. Hello ADHD, thank you. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that the meal plan I made for this week was friendly for if you want to do the meal prep ahead of time and then have very minimal effort to put in at the actual time that you're about to eat. So I hope that's helpful for some folks. That was a very long-winded way of saying that. This is the little menu board we use for meal planning. I know you cannot read this. We have, I thought it was a great idea to get this in black because, as you can see over here, our fridge is black. But the markers just don't show up terribly well on camera. So I actually started the Sunday before because my husband left last Saturday evening. So on Sunday, I just made a quick casserole. Actually, on Friday, I made a quick casserole to eat on Sunday, because that's the whole point for me not to be cooking while I have sole care of my kids. So knowing that was gonna happen, I made a casserole. It's literally just ground meat, dumped into a casserole dish, boiled noodles, dumped into that dish, sauce of your choice. I think I had extra pizza sauce in the fridge, so I put pizza sauce on it, right? And then just grate some cheese or shred some cheese over that, put it in the oven at 350 for however long it takes that cheese to melt, right? It's very easy to reheat. You just cut it into pieces, pop it in the microwave for 30 seconds, and you're good to go. So my kids like it. It's easy. For green vegetable, I think we did broccoli. We have frozen broccoli. Put that in the microwave for a couple minutes, drizzle some ranch on it, and they're just in hog heaven, right? My kids actually like broccoli as long as it has ranch on it, right? Let's be honest. So we did that for Sunday. So I made the casserole on Friday. For Monday, since now I'm working from home, I can do this during my lunch break. I made meatballs. These are like 4 ingredient meatballs that are actually 5 ingredients if you put in the carrots. I do have a video of me making that. I think the recipe is from Yummy Toddler Foods. I'll link that below or up here somewhere if possible. So I made the meatballs. The sweet potatoes, we actually have a potato pocket, which I meant to bring up here. Hold on. All right, as you can see, this is well used and loved. This was actually a gift from my mom, but this is one of those things where I feel like it's like the really gimmicky as seen on TV. It's literally just a cloth pouch. I'm sure there's something in here other than just cloth, but it has all of these instructions on it, like don't put this in a conventional oven, you know, all of this sort of thing. Oh, apparently it's called Perfect Potato, so if you want to Google that or Amazon that or whatever. But what you do is you just wash your potato, put the potato in the pouch, put the pouch in the microwave. I think we usually do it for 4 minutes for a decent, oh yeah, it says place 1 to 4 washed potatoes, then close the flap, put it in the microwave, cook for 4 minutes. The potatoes do get very hot, but it's like the perfect baked potato as if you had baked it in the oven for like 45 minutes. So potatoes are really good, quick side. My kids like sweet potatoes. It's a non-white food vegetable that I can give them. So I love that. So I did sweet potatoes in the potato pocket because I can nuke something for 4 minutes while watching my kids. I'm not that inept. Broccoli, nuke some frozen broccoli in the microwave for 2 minutes. Done. And then I did make cinnamon apples. I prepped those ahead of time. Cinnamon apples, essentially, I just sliced up an apple. I didn't peel it or anything because my kids don't care. If your kids care, you might want to peel it. And then just put a little bit of butter and a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit of brown sugar. And you just let them bake on the stovetop. And it's, you know, it's pretty simple. My kids like it. They like it with yogurt. They like it in cereal. You know, I guess if you want to flavor your oatmeal, you can flavor it with that too. So yeah, that's what we had for supper last night. Went over really well. The kids loved it. Tonight we're gonna have spinach quiche, which I've also done in a video. I think that was the video I ran out of mayo. But I'll link that down below in case you want the recipe. It's very little time to put together. It does take quite a while to bake in the oven. I think it's like 45 minutes and then like another 15 minutes, so about an hour in the oven. But if you're doing it over your lunch, that's absolutely fine if you're at home. Bacon, I am gonna pre-make the bacon so that we can just reheat it, just so that it's cooked, so I'm not standing there over bacon. And then just, my kids like yogurt with fruit, so we have some Greek yogurt. I'm just gonna spoon that into a bowl and have some strawberries cut up, plop it in there. Or actually, I probably need to ask my kids if they want the strawberries cut up or if they just want the stems cut off, because they are very specific at this stage of life. And if you cut up the strawberries when they want the strawberries whole, that's just like, there's no reason for me not to honor that preference of theirs. And if you don't honor it, it like feels like they're losing control, so they kind of start to melt down a little bit. So I will ask my kids if they want the strawberries sliced or not, but that's something that I can easily do while they're there. All right, so that'll be tonight. As soon as I get done recording this, I'll probably go ahead and make that spinach quiche and make the bacon. Tomorrow night is actually a little bit of a fun night. So normally we would do like a Taco Tuesday, which would be tonight when I'm recording this. However, my parents are moving this week. My parents live about an hour away from me, and they've lived in their house for about 20 years now, right? So they have a lot of stuff to kind of purge and pack. And then they're only having the movers pack very specific things. But my aunt and uncle from Georgia actually drove up to help my parents pack up the house. And they haven't seen my kids in a year. So I just saw them when I went to that family wedding the other month, but they haven't seen my kids in over a year now. And kids at 2 and 4 have changed a lot from kids at 1 and 3. So they're gonna come over with my parents. I'm excited about that. But so that we have enough food to feed 4 extra adults, I'm gonna make tacos. My parents and my aunt and uncle definitely have very different, not dietary needs, but dietary preferences. I guess I would say that. So with tacos, everyone can kind of choose what they want, right? I'm just gonna make all of the parts and everyone can assemble their own tacos. So we're gonna do our normal black bean tacos, which is literally just heating up a can of black beans from the store, right? So we heat up black beans. I do make my own taco seasoning, so I will be making that during the day. So I put the taco seasoning in the black beans. I'm also going to do chicken, which we don't normally do for our regular every week taco night. I'm gonna put some chicken in the crock pot, and then I'm just gonna pour some salsa on it, and I'm gonna let it go. And when it's done, I can just shred that very easily. So that'll be good. Get some avocado. We have canned and frozen corn. I might use the canned corn in this case. Make some rice. I think we have a boil in the bag rice in the pantry. Spinach. I'll chop up some spinach. I will shred some cheese when the time comes. And with this, I can spend a little bit more time prepping right before supper because I will have 4 extra adults to help like wrangle the kids. And there are people who are really wanting to get time with the kids as well. We'll see how that goes. Will my son allow me to put him down and like take to the new people? Will he run straight to grandpa because he loves grandpa and loves his truck? I don't know. We'll see how it does. Will my daughter be a little bit shy to warm up? Possibly. So I might have kids right underfoot, but we'll see how it goes, right? Sour cream, I'm gonna make some pico ahead of time, and that I'm literally just gonna leave on the counter instead of putting in the fridge because tomatoes after they're refrigerated, they're just not as good. So I think I have some tomatoes on the tomato plant outside that I'm gonna go check and see if they're ready. I should have some ready out there for that. We have some tortilla chips left over from before. I won't use all the salsa with the chicken, so we can have chips and salsa while I'm getting stuff ready. And then I'll just cut up a normal salad. We have lettuce and spinach, so I'll cut that up. We've got some carrots. I'll toss the carrots in there. So people, if they want salad instead of having tortillas, they can do like a taco salad situation instead. All right, so I'm excited because that's family I don't get to see very often. I did just get to see them the other month, but that was the first time I'd seen them in about a year. So it'll be nice to have them here. I haven't seen my parents in a while as well, so that will be nice. Thursday night, my husband actually made a bunch of ribs a while ago now. So we have some leftover ribs that we put up in the freezer. So I'm just gonna pull those out, let those defrost, heat them up. Then we're gonna do some frozen peas, just nuked in the microwave with just a little bit of butter. We have some sweet potato left over from Monday night, so we will finish up the sweet potato. And during lunch, I am gonna make the biscuits since I'll have a little bit of time to do that. I like making homemade biscuits. My kids like the biscuits, and we'll be able to take those with us if we need to. All right, now the really exciting part of the week for me, you can see these maybe just have very little left written on them. And this word, if you can't read it, it says Wilmington. That means that my kids and I are actually going to go visit my best friend and her husband. They live in Wilmington, which is on the coast of North Carolina. So we're gonna go have ourselves a little beach weekend. I plan this because my husband is going to be gone all this week and he'll get back on the Monday. And just for, please don't rob my house purposes, this is gonna be airing after we get back from that. Okay, so don't get any ideas. So on Friday, I'm just gonna pick them up from daycare a little bit early. We will probably take some food with us in the car for snacks, but we'll probably end up getting there around supper time. And Friday and Saturday night, we'll just figure out supper there. Will we go out? I don't know. Will we have supper at home? Probably. I am going to, Friday during the day, pack some fruit and that sort of thing to take with us. We don't eat them out of house and home in their fruit supply, essentially. And then Sunday, we will probably try to be back here around supper time. And we'll probably just have leftovers from this week because there will definitely be leftovers and we'll need to do that. Or if we're running a little bit late, we'll just pick up something on the road. We don't have fast food for the kids very often, but this would be like a special treat. And then my husband would be home the next day and he's looking forward to getting in and getting back into his routine and that sort of thing. So over here on the notes, I have what I need to do and then in parentheses, the day I need to do it. So this one was just, I have some bananas that are going off, so I need to make some muffins out of those. But I did make the meatballs and I made the cinnamon apples. So today for Tuesday, I need to make the spinach quiche and the bacon. And then on Thursday, I just have the note to make the biscuits. Because looking at this doesn't necessarily compute in my brain to be like, oh, like this is the exact thing you need to do. So I find it helpful to actually write that out here. So I hope that helps give you an idea of how I handle solo parenting and cooking when I am not good at doing both of those at the same time. Part of it's also like I just really want to be present with my kids. I don't get as much time with them during the week as I would like. They go to daycare. I work full time, and I really love spending time with my kids. Obviously, I wouldn't have had kids if I didn't, right? So yeah, that helps me spend more time with them, be able to play with them a little bit by the time they get home, kind of go through that emotional regulation period that they always go through after getting home from daycare. Because, you know, daycare is a lot. They're surrounded by a lot of friends. They have all these activities that they're doing, and they just sometimes, just like people getting home from work, they need a little decompression, right? So this allows me to be present for that. And these are all foods that they really like. So I know that I'm not going to have any fights at supper time about things that they don't like. This is not the week to try new foods with them, right? It's always good to try new foods. But this week we're going with the tried and true ones that I know they love. So as to not just, I mean, it's a different week for them too. They're not used to their dad being gone, right? So I want them to feel comfortable and to have these kind of more comfort foods available to them. All right, I think that will do it for this video. If you like this kind of content, please give it a like, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Plop down in the comments below and let me know what are your kind of go-to meals on those nights where you either know you're going to be busy or you're just not going to have time to make supper at supper time, so that you are prepping it beforehand. Let's share those recipes, okay? All right, I will see you next time. Bye.